Swamiji arrived into Bombay, India at dawn and was tearfully welcomed to the home of his eldest devotee, Srimati Sohini Mehta, and her family. She was so overjoyed to have Swamiji in her home again, and the same evening she invited many friends and longtime devotees to have Swamiji's darshana, or blessed presence. Sohini Mehta has been a devotee for more than 22 years. Her great faith in Swamiji has brought her through tremendous difficulties, and she is truly an inspiration to all who know her. The devotees constantly surrounded Swamiji with their soothing and elevating chants of the Lord's name and of his praises. Even this very young boy led all in this wonderful song. Early next morning, Swamiji visited the home of Mrs. Uma Rajan to bless this newly born child. Bombay is one of the largest cities in India. Many of the inhabitants are called Gujarati and speak the Indian dialect by that same name. When Swamiji was living in India, he often came to Bombay to visit friends and devotees. Every year he came to visit Mr. P.M.N. Swami and take part in their annual Ramana Maharsha Jayanti, a birthday celebration for the great saint. Mr. Swami and his family insisted Swamiji find time to visit them, even for a few moments. Sohini took Swamiji to the marketplace to get some typical Indian stainless steel eating plates to bring back to America. India is known for its deep spiritual heritage. It can be easily seen not only in the faces and the sweetness of the people, but even the shops such as this one all have altars to God. Nothing is done without remembrance of the Lord. Business is begun and ended with a prostration to the divine goddess Mahalakshmi, the goddess of wealth. And some part of the profit also is offered to her in thanks for her blessings. No part of an Indian's life is separate from the remembrance of God's name. The Lord's names are sung at all times. As Sohini stopped to buy some fruit, a huge crowd gathered around us to see Swamiji and the motion picture camera, and we were barely able to leave. On the second evening of Swamiji's stay, a satsang was held at another devotee's home. As always, they began with beautiful songs of devotion, and were content to sit at his feet and listen to his words.
Yoga is the master key to open everything. If you want to open the heart of your beloved, you have yoga. If you want to open the heart of the scriptures, you have yoga. Health, wealth, strength, everything can be opened with yoga. That is why it is universal.
Afterwards they came one by one to receive his blessings and ask for personal advice. After the short Bombay stay, it was again time for Swamiji to go on, this time to South India. Sohini and husband Suresh Mehta quietly bid him farewell at their home.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamasho ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
On the way to the home of Swamiji's host, Mr. Giri, he showed us this Sarvayana high school, where many years ago he received training as these small boys do now. Though everything was new and exciting to the American devotees traveling with Swamiji, he looked on the familiar scene with a beautiful gaze of knowing and loving. In the traditional way, Swamiji was welcomed to Mr. Giri's home. For several hours he sat with the members of his family and longtime devotees who gathered there, including his son Nanjapa, his uncle Mr. Krishna Swami Gandhi, and of course, his auntie. Until late into the night they were content to just be in his presence and hear his consoling words and listen to him tell of some of his work in America.
There is a divine plan behind everything. If we allow ourselves to be used by that unseen force as good instruments, many things can happen in a mysterious, miraculous way. If we interfere with that plan by introducing our own plan, the egocentric plan, tension will be created. For in any event, ultimately the divine plan will win out.
Before they left, Swamiji brought out some chewing gum packets that he had brought for the young children. It is a rare commodity there, and they were so happy to receive it from his hands. The next morning, Swamiji visited the home of his uncle, Mr. Krishna Swami Gandhi, with whom as a young man he once had an automotive business partnership. As he was leaving, he stopped to show us this shrine to Lord Ganesh, the elephant-headed aspect of God, near the front entranceway. Ganesh is the son of Lord Shiva and his consort Parvati. He is worshipped first in any ceremony, and his picture or image is kept near the entranceway to protect the home. During the trip we had the great fortune of visiting many ashrams and holy places significant to Swamiji's early life. Accompanied by his older brother, Sri Anachiappa, Swamiji was taken to this Perur Tamil college, where he was met by Sri Santalinga Swamigal, who is now the head of it. It is in this very hall that Swamiji, as a young boy of 8, delivered his first lecture on Ahimsa to a congregation of scholars and saintly men from the lap of a great saint. Sri Santalinga Swamigal was the 17th century founder of this madam or monastery, which bears his name. He is a revered spiritual master, well known for his beautiful Tamil poetry. During this trip they requested Swamiji to speak to the hundreds of Tamil poetry students in the college. The present Sri Santalinga Swamigal, who is himself a great Tamil poet and author, introduced him.
Always try to serve others. Don't even call it helping. Call it service, because you are benefited by that. If a man begs from you and you give him something, you shouldn't think that you are helping him. Instead, he is helping you. Hasn't he given you an opportunity to express your generosity?
On leaving, Swamiji was surrounded by devotees and friends, including this gentleman who remembered him well from his school days. Not far from the college and ashram is the Patishwara temple of Lord Nataraja, the dancing Shiva. It is at this holy shrine that Swamiji years ago served as temple manager. He is well known and respected by the present temple officials, who always welcome him with special honors and music. At the main shrine of the Shiva Lingam, the priest offers a worship to the deity. Normally devotees are made to stand at least 15 to 20 feet away from the deity behind metal railings. But here, as everywhere, Swamiji with his devotees are brought right before the deity at the inner sanctum. Most Hindu temples have an inner courtyard around the central altars, and it is the custom to walk clockwise around, paying homage to the different aspects of the Lord residing in various shrines along the way.
There are not many gods, there is only one. And that one has no name, no form, and no place. He is everywhere. And in actuality, he is neither a he, nor a she, nor it. But such abstractions cannot be grasped by our limited minds. Only when the mind expands to a greater capacity can we understand the infinite things. That's why, according to our capacity, the Infinite One reduces himself to a lower level.
At another altar, one aspect of the Divine Mother is worshipped. At last, the presiding deity of Lord Nataraja himself is reached. It is before this image of the dancing Shiva, Swamiji would often sit and meditate throughout the night when he was temple manager here. Lord Nataraja symbolizes the 5 actions of God. In his hands he holds the symbol of the first sound of creation and the fire of destruction. One hand is raised in the symbol of protection, while the extended arm and leg symbolized his veiling or Mayic nature, and shows that by going to the feet of the Lord, we obtain his grace. In the courtyard, Swamiji was welcomed by the temple elephant. Years ago, he once saved this same elephant from overwork and cruel treatment, and everyone was amazed to see that he clearly remembered Swamiji with great affection. Another ashram dear to Swamiji's life and family is the Gaumata Madhalayam, now headed by Sri Sundara Swamigal, who is walking next to him here. He insisted that Swamiji visit the ashram grounds again, where Swamiji had spent much time as a young boy. Sri Ramananda Swamigal was the founder of this ashram 3 generations ago, and was a close relative to Swamiji's family. He was a great devotee of Lord Muruga, and was known to have performed many miracles. Living in seclusion, he came out only once yearly to bless his disciples with his presence. His chief disciple was Sri Kundaswami Swamigal, a great Tamil language poet and author. He was also a great Siddha yogi who performed many miracles, and devotees claim he visited them spiritually to save them from accidents and guide them in their spiritual practices. He can be said to be the first spiritual teacher for Swamiji when he was a young boy. Sri Sundara Swamigal, the current head of the ashram, is the 3rd generation in this line. It is told that there are 1,008 temples in South India, and many, like this Madhudamalai, are devoted to Lord Muruga, who is believed to dwell in the hills. The vehicle of this deity is the peacock, which are allowed to freely roam the temple courtyards. A well-known story in these parts is about one of Swamiji's ancestors. He was an ardent devotee of Lord Muruga, and he often came to this temple to meditate for hours. One day he awoke to find that he had been locked inside for the night. He felt hungry, and he called on the Lord to provide him with food. Soon the temple priest entered with food from the temple kitchen, which is kept as an offering to the deity. After the meal, he resumed his meditation. When morning came, the priest unlocked the shrine and was surprised to see him sitting there. He apologized for locking him in and immediately offered him food. The devotee soon realized that the priest had not fed him that night. It had been Lord Muruga himself. 4 of Swamiji's relatives and friends accompanied he and 3 American devotees on a 6-day car trip through the south, visiting holy shrines and more places of significance to Swamiji's life. The southernmost tip of India is called Cape Comorin. Here there is a famous temple devoted to Mahatma Gandhi. On a small island not far off the coast is a temple dedicated to Swami Vivekananda. As a wandering monk, Swamiji had spent some time here in meditation. Palani Hill Temple is one of the most revered holy places in the south. It is here that Swamiji's mother came to Sadhu Swamigal. She received a mantra from him for meditation prior to Swamiji's birth. By repeating the mantra, she prayed to give birth to a spiritual son. It was here also that Swamiji came as a young man to worship and undergo intense and leave it by the door. Swamiji stayed in this house for a long time in complete Returning from the south, we briefly visited this Ramakrishna mission in Thirupparaiturai. It is here that Swamiji studied under Swami Chidbhavanandaji and took brahmachari or pre-monkhood initiation. He was given the name Sri Samba Shiva Chaitanya, as he was known until he took sannyas and became Swami Satchidananda. The resident monks were overjoyed at his visit. Here Swamiji is welcomed to the Vedanta ashram by Sri Arivananda Swamigal. As most everywhere in the south, he is well known and dearly loved by the people. They arranged this outside talk and afterwards served wonderful tender coconut water. The Coimbatore Divine Life Society was overflowing with people who came to hear him speak. Years ago, Swamiji founded this branch of the Divine Life Society. The program was so very beautiful. After a wonderful bhajan and chanting, Swamiji spoke, and several of the American disciples were requested to say a few words and lead some chants. Soon after, the films of Swamiji's work in America, such as the Woodstock Festival and the Yoga Ecumenical Retreat, were shown to a captive audience.
In the spiritual life, all paths lead to the same place.
Mr. G.D. Naidu was so happy to see Swamiji again. He is well known as a technical genius, and as a young man, Swamiji worked in his factories. Swamiji recalled how on his last visit here, Mr. Naidu had offered him a ride from one function to another, but instead had tried to kidnap him to his house for a few quiet minutes alone. Swamiji's sons and relatives gathered for a puja or worship at his feet as he entered the home of his brother-in-law. The worship of great saints is a traditional way of showing great reverence and devotion to the divine manifesting in human form. By worshiping the feet, the devotee expresses his own humility, thus making himself receptive to receive the divine grace. The nearby town of Velliangiri welcomed him with native drums and horns. Swamiji gave an outdoor talk this night, and they requested him to come back and set up an ashram there. Longtime devotee Sri Krishna Chettiar insisted that Swamiji and students attend the wedding of his daughter.
सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते ओम शांति 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 सर्वाभीष्टसिद्धिरस्तु सुमंगली भव.
They walk round the canopy, and their first act together as man and wife is to go before the temple of the Lord. In Ooty, high in the southern hills, Mr. Giri garlands Swamiji, one of the many times he did so during Swamiji's visit. Mr. Giri tried to stay with Swamiji as much as possible, and when he wasn't there himself physically, he took all precautions to make sure that Swamiji was well taken care of and kept in good hands. Also in Ooty, Swamiji visited this Bhajan Hall, where he was received so warmly.
Treat everyone as the Lord. Feel His presence in everyone. If you see the entire universe as a divine representation, you will start going out and serving everyone, irrespective of caste, creed, color or country.
We were taken to a natural wildlife sanctuary where elephants are raised and trained, and many wild elephants roam freely. They arranged for a special treat, an elephant ride. We were really delighted when we passed by a newly born baby elephant with his mother.
The light is always within you, but it is up to you to make use of it. If you close your eyes, even though the light is there, you won't be able to see it. Awake, arise, keep the light always in front of you. Follow the light always. If you keep that light constantly in front of you to lead your way, you will always be the master.
Mr. Giri and Mr. Rao took Swamiji to a nearby herb farm where he sampled some of the hundreds of varieties there. The highest point in Ooty is known to be always covered with clouds, but all were surprised during Swamiji's visit when the clouds broke and you could see for miles around. On the way back, we passed by this building where Swamiji once conducted a nature cure camp with the well-known Dr. Bhikshu Swami for poor people, including many untouchables. Nearby is a beautiful small temple. At this spot, the great saint and mystic Sai Baba appeared to Swamiji and a few others in the form of a snake. They were meditating when the hooded cobra suddenly appeared at the center of the altar. They offered some flowers, and after some time he quietly left. The temple was erected to commemorate that event. The small farming village of Chettipalayam is Swamiji's birthplace, and here he spent his childhood. The visit here was incredible. For blocks ahead of Swamiji's family's house, hundreds and hundreds lined the road to catch sight of him. He could hardly move through the town, though several men tried to clear a way. Hands came in from all directions to touch his hands, his gown, his feet, his hair, with real reverence and devotion. Inside, the house has been turned into a pilgrimage center and spiritual meeting place. This was his first visit since the installation. There were so many people that the vast majority were forced to stand outside and watch as the fortunate ones came in to touch his feet and receive the holy ash. They kept coming for this blessing until finally Swamiji had to stop them so that the rest of the program could go on. In these very rooms, Swamiji ran and played as a small boy at his parents' feet. His father, Sri Kalyana Sundaram, was a well-respected and revered town leader and a talented Tamil poet. Due to his earnest religious piety and loving heart, Swamiji as a young boy was exposed to all the saintly and learned men who were always welcomed at his house. Members of the spiritual group Sanmarga Sangam sang some beautiful chants in Swamiji's honor, and a beautiful puja was worshipped at the altar. It was a truly great inspiration for us to see such deep respect and reverence shown to Swamiji in the very house of his birth.
Well, friends, I'm happy to see you again. I know you are all the great devotees of Lord Shiva and Lord Muruga. You are all Saivites. I see the holy ash smeared on your forehead. But please know that the significance of the holy ash is purity. So this purity should permeate in all your life, in your thoughts, words, and deeds.
Afterwards, Swamiji was taken outside to the nearby temple courtyard, where thousands had gathered to hear him speak in Tamil, their native tongue.
அன்பு பெருமக்களே, உங்களது இக்குதூகலமான வரவேற்புக்கு எம் அனைவரது சார்பிலும் நன்றி தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். இறைவன் உங்கள் எல்லோருக்கும் உடல்நலம், உளநலம், மனநலம், இறைநலம் ஆகிய சகல நலங்களையும் அருள்வாராக. வணக்கம்.
Leaving the next morning was difficult, as many still wanted to see and touch this holy man from their own village, whom they all remember so well. Back in Coimbatore at Mr. Giri's house, Swamiji was always surrounded by devotees anxious to get his blessings and hear his words. Early morning they would come and wait on the veranda for a chance to see or speak with him between his many programs. His visiting Coimbatore was delayed an extra day because of heavy rains and flooding. One relative, Karuntagiri, claimed it was the tears of them all thinking of his departure that held him there for one more day. Clear skies the next morning were met with mixed emotions, as once again Swamiji had to leave the presence of the beloved people of Coimbatore. In Bangalore, Swamiji spoke at the Divine Life Society. The children sang this beautiful chant for him, and it was an especially moving time for me, as one Indian woman came softly crying and holding onto my arm, told us how blessed we were to be so much in Swamiji's presence, and that we should never, never leave him. As always, Swamiji gave many public talks and satsangs, this one in a Krishna temple. At the home of Swamiji's host, Mr. Sitaram, a Pada Puja was performed by Swami Vivekananda Mataji. She's a long-time devotee of Swamiji's from Kandy, Ceylon, and several years ago she received the Holy Order of Sannyas, or monkhood, from Swamiji there.
When you are in peace, you are in God. You are with God.
In nearby Mysore, we visited a temple to the Divine Mother. Swamiji made new friends near the famous Nandi bull. It's an old custom to pass under the front leg of Nandi. He is the guardian of the temple area. As a spiritual seeker, Swamiji had also spent much time at this ashram in Tiruvannamalai at the feet of the great saint Ramana Maharshi. He was there until just 7 days before he left his physical body. In the nearby town of Tiruvannamalai, we were fortunate enough to be there on the great Festival of Lights. Swamiji and disciples watched from the temple roof as thousands joined in the celebration. Chanting went on all day as many more thousands climbed to the top of the hill. As dusk nears, the deities are paraded through the courtyard. Preparations for a fire are made, awaiting the signal from the hilltop to be lit. In North India, Swamiji brings students to the Vivekananda Center in Calcutta. In Bodh Gaya, all meditated under the sacred Bodhi tree, where Lord Buddha is said to have reached enlightenment. Swamiji gave satsang and the Western students chanted to Lord Buddha. Nearby Buddhist monks ran over to learn the new chants. In Benares, all were purified by In New Delhi, Swamiji and hundreds of yogis and scientists attended the Yoga Scientific Conference arranged by Christopher Hills. Talks and seminars went on throughout the many days.
Beloved friends, let us thank the Lord for having brought us together. Let us rise above all these man-made differences and go right to the spiritual oneness. Let us always learn to see the unity in diversity, so that one day we will enjoy the much needed peace and harmony all over the globe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Swamiji took us early one morning to pay homage at the tomb of India's great saint, Mahatma Gandhi. On the way to Rishikesh, Swamiji spotted some sugarcane pressers. We all sampled the delicious, fresh sugarcane syrup. When we offered to pay for it, the people refused, saying that it was the greatest of gifts for them to be able to serve a holy man like Swamiji, and that God would take care of them. At the Divine Life Society in Rishikesh, Himalayas, Swamiji had a wonderful reunion with his brother monks. It is here that Swamiji spent many years, at the feet of his master, Swami Sivananda. The ashram is so unbelievably beautiful and filled with an intense vibration of deep peace. One could almost hear the voice of Swami Sivananda.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Children of light, there is no virtue higher than love. There is no treasure higher than love. There is no religion higher than love, because love is truth and love is God. Love, prem and bhakti are synonymous terms. This world has come out of love. This world exists in love, and this world ultimately dissolves in love. God is an embodiment of love. In every inch of his creation, you can verily understand his love. Live in love, breathe in love, sing in love, eat love, drink love, walk in love, talk in love, pray in love, meditate in love, think in love, move in love, write in love, die in love. Taste the honey of divine love and become an embodiment of love. Mohan banti wala tumko laakho pranam. Mohan banti wala tumko laakho pranam. Tumko laakho pranam, pyare crore pranam. Shankar bole wale tumko laakho pranam. Tumko laakho pranam, pyare crore pranam. Bhajo Radhe Govind, Radhe Govind, bhajo Radhe Govind, Radhe Govind, bhajo Sita Govind. Hari bolo bolo bhai Radhe Govind, Hare Krishna.
About 15 miles up the Ganges is Vashishta Guha. Here Swamiji leaves the cave where he has meditated many times and received many spiritual experiences. Here he stayed for some time with the great saint Swami Purushottamanda. At this sacred spot, Swamiji helped us all to plunge into the icy cold waters of the Holy Mother Ganges River. Worshipped by millions, This river carries with it a positive, purifying vibration. It is considered as a blessing to even touch its holy waters, and we felt an undeserved and unfathomable blessing to enter her in Swamiji's presence. The ride back to Rishikesh was beautiful. During Swami Sivananda's Jayanti, or birthday celebration, a special ceremony is offered to him. Throughout the day, hundreds of devotees chant the names of the Lord and constantly offer flowers at his feet. As an ashram inmate, Swamiji was a teacher of Hatha and Raja Yoga, and during the several-day stay there, he was again requested to demonstrate some yoga postures. And afterwards, his disciples gave a group demonstration also. Swamiji is welcomed to speak in the Bhajan Hall, where he once sat and listened to Swami Sivananda.
The young people today are being transplanted into another area altogether. And so we see this shaking. We see it all over the globe. But I see a very bright future. The West has realized the superficiality of the material life. The West is crying for true knowledge and is getting it. I have a great hope. There is great awakening. The whole world is going to enjoy the peace. Day by day, I see it progressing.
The next day, he bid farewell to his beloved spiritual brothers and sisters. We traveled further into the Himalayas to Mussoorie, where the air is clean and pure and maybe a little too invigorating. From here we could see the peaks of the Himalayas deep in Tibet, including the famous Mount Kailash, where Swamiji once made a long pilgrimage. On a short visit to the Taj Mahal, he quickly made a new friend. We were all torn between the grand beauty of the Taj and Swamiji's simple, living beauty. Back in New Delhi, we celebrated Swamiji's birthday on December 22nd, amidst cards, calls, and telegrams of love from his devotees all over the world, thankful for his presence on earth.
She